Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Fairmont High School as the host Fairmont High School will taking on their guest all the way from PAARL Boys in this under 16A clash here, 6 p.m. at Fairmont. A little chillier day than normal, typical winter's day in Cape Town, but we look forward to some really cool action. We've got the under 16 boys game now as well as the first team game next. I'm joined today, my name's AJ Spiringzoek, I'm joined today by Marais. Marais, you well?
I'm well, AJ, thank you very much. It's great being out here in Durbanville once again for some hockey. Always glad to be back on the park and being able to enjoy the feeling of having the boys play again.
So what have you been doing now that there's been no sport? I mean, you coaching, you're umpiring. It must be pretty lean because you go from a very busy schedule where on the weekends you just go from match to match to match, where you had a period now where you went almost nothing.
Yeah, AJ, there was nothing going on in the middle of the season. We totally had a break, and then we just had to start focusing on conditioning and focusing, myself as well. But the biggest challenge here was keeping the boys' mindset ready and ready to come back into play for if we are going to return in the end.
So we'll come back to that now as PAARL Boys have the ball in midfield as they look to just create a bit of momentum. As we're only a couple of minutes into the first quarter, as PAARL Boys are moving the ball around the back. Fairmont just a little bit of pressure. And Marais, I think I'll come back to you on as Fairmont win the ball in midfield. There's a bit of a turnover. They have a chance now to counter. And under a little bit of pressure on the left-hand side as there's a stick tackle. Fairmont with a free just outside the 25 on the left-hand side. A quick free gets taken and a little bit of space as he enters the 25. And well trapped by PAARL Boys as they try and break it out. So what type of things did you do with the boys to try? Because I mean, it's so difficult to obviously keep everybody motivated. I mean, during a period like it. So what type of things were you doing with them to try and keep them focused? I mean, I know the excitement levels would have been there for the boys to want to get back, but I mean, what was the motivation there to try and stay fit and to try and keep sharp?
So from a motivation point of view, we kind of kept our video analysis and video conditioning sessions going and trying to get the boys. Luckily our boys with the mindset of training and staying fit, we don't have a problem with that at all at PAARL Boys Eye. The guys really show up for the conditioning sessions and they're just so keen to be together as a group because these guys have become their family. And training in the afternoon has become a place to escape for them. I mean, having school all day, masked all day, having a time to train without a mask on is a bit of a joy for them. And especially now playing this, both sides here, I am sure will be able to, or will want to come out in full force and show the people what they've done in this lockdown period and how they come back.
Yeah, we'll come back to that as PAARL Boys have a free just inside the 25 as they look to put a little bit on pressure. It's still 0-0 here at Fairmont High School. My name's AJ Spiringzoek. I'm joined by Marais Engelbrecht. If you've got any comments, please drop it in our comment section and we'll read them out throughout the game. Please engage with us. Let us know where you are watching from, who you're supporting. And we'll look forward to engage with you through then as Fairmont with the ball just outside the half. It's been the game so far. It's gone both ways. Teams have made a few mistakes either side, but also have not really had any clear-cut chances just yet. Players are still just getting a feel of the game currently. Marais, I just think another thing, if you look at, we talk about motivation to train. Let's look further. When players leave school, they're going to move into university and then ultimately obviously move into the workplace. A lot of them will be in desk jobs where they'll be sitting in front of a computer most of the time. Do you think that one of the benefits, and I say this loosely, I say this very carefully and respectfully, but it has made us more aware of our physical fitness and also made us aware that health from a physical side, going out for a run or going for a jog, has become more than just a competition purpose, Have you seen that in your boys, that they've now not just training for the sake of getting ready for a match, but they're training maybe for the enjoyment? Have you seen a change in that in the boys?
We have, especially the fact that if you're bringing a training aspect for the point of staying sane, just having a place to escape with. We've seen the guys knowing that they won't be able to train hockey, but they will be able to get together and train fitness and run together. And they'll be going for group runs out in PAARL. They'll be training on the sports field in front of the school. Even though some of them don't even have to come to training or don't even have a conditioning slot in that second, just there, Fairmont inside the circle right now. Well defended there and a free eventually for PAARL Boys Eye. the guys, yeah, from a training point of view, they've literally been doing it for enjoyment. They don't. That's what I was saying. They didn't even have to be at conditioning, but they still went there to start training in the gym because the gym was also always open.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point you make. As FAIRMONT now the ball down the right hand side as they're looking to drive down deep into the baseline, and PAARL Boys under a bit of pressure, balls inside the circle. The shot comes in from FAIRMONT, save for the goalkeeper, and FAIRMONT still got the ball. PAARL looking to try and clear it. Ball's lifted a little bit dangerously, but umpires kept the advantage going for a stick tackle from PAARL Boys, and FAIRMONT with about 7 minutes left in this quarter have taken the first penalty corner. And first real little, well, second break inside the circle for FAIRMONT, and they get a bit of an outcome, and they'll want to get a reward from this. A little bit shaky in defense there, Murray.
Yeah, I think both sides just trying to find the feet in defense, especially at this stage. PAARL Boys are getting more of it at this one, but I think definitely FAIRMONT will try and capitalize on this one, because getting one up right now is a good place to be.
Double castle at the top, push out comes into the left side and comes in for a drag flick comes in and hits a PAARL Boys player and goes inside the circle. I think PAARL Boys players were thinking that ball could potentially have been off target, but umpire deems it on target, and FAIRMONT take a 1-0 lead and capitalize on the penalty corner and the second circle entry.
Now the boys, our guys, need to know that this is only beginning of the game. Still lots to happen, lots of time.
Yeah, it's been fairly. I mean, it's been fairly even. FAIRMONT have had 1 or 2 now circle entries, and PAARL have had 1 on the other side. So it's still been a fairly even game. It's not that it's one-sided, as you say. It's still a long time. Yeah, as we say that PAARL Boys with the ball now, ball inside the circle and hits a PAARL Boys foot, and unfortunately they couldn't capitalize on an attack. And FAIRMONT now with the ball have a chance now to get back. Overhead goes to the opposite side of the field to a PAARL Boys play, and FAIRMONT unfortunately encroaches on that 5 yards and deemed dangerous. So PAARL Boys got a couple of games left. They're not too many games left for PAARL Boys this season. You've got still your game against Paul Roos and your normal derby, your big derby against Paul Jim. How are the boys feeling knowing that there's only a few games left? And
well, AJ, I think at this stage we take it day for day. Anything might change.
That's so true.
We have heard that our official PAARL Interschools has been cancelled. We might have some friendly games coming our direction, and then we are waiting on what's happening at PAARL Roos maybe next weekend. And I say maybe because we like to say that it's confirmed, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think you make a valid point. And as much as this is extremely frustrating for everyone, whether it be hockey, I know there's a whole lot of other sports that have lost basically another year. And FAIRMONT again with another tack down that right hand side, and a tackle comes in from PAARL Boys, and now long corner to FAIRMONT deep on the right hand side. I think it is very frustrating, and I agree with you. I mean, it's sometimes you can't predict these things. You know, we can say that something's going to happen, and sad to hear that your interschools is now being cancelled for 2020, 2021, and but yeah, hopefully maybe somewhere along the line you can at least get a match against Paul Jim.
So we do have friendlies in the pipeline, but as I say, we might.
Yeah, we can.
You mentioned something very important there. We lost another year, and I think we've lost at least 2 years with what's happened here. And that's 2 years of development. We're not only looking at your under 16A and your first team sides, but I mean, if you look at lower sides coming in, boys playing under 12 hockey, needing to play under 13 hockey, then coming to high school, their last proper match that they played was when they were under 12.
Yeah.
We're looking at development of skills.
I think also, I mean, from a coach myself, I look at this as we've been fairly fortunate when I've obviously been involved with the South African indoors ladies side, and we've had matches. But what's something that has been quite good for us is that we could take a step back, and get back to the sort of basics that we sometimes not forget about, but we sometimes put aside because we want to prepare for a game. Now we have a case where, yes, we obviously want the match practice. There's nothing better than match practice. But I think it's a good time to obviously we've had 2 years of it now where we've focused a lot on basics and a lot of the simple things. But yeah, I genuinely hope that as soon as, I mean, like, we never know when we will. I say normal in inverted commas because I think normal is a relative word nowadays. But yeah, as we say, that Fairmont now bursts inside the circle. Keeper comes in. Player pulls to one side. The goal box is open currently. He's going to look for pass. Pass comes in. Shot comes in. But it's deflected away from PAARL Boys, apologies, and ball still in play as PAARL Boys unfortunately lose it on the left-hand side. And a good little attack there. Golden opportunity for Fairmont to go 2-0 up with 2 minutes left as ball still goes inside the circle. Fairmont still with the ball. And it's another good tackle from PAARL Boys as ball still inside the circle. It was well cleared there by PAARL Boys as Fairmont starting to get a little bit more comfortable on the ball, and PAARL Boys under a little bit more pressure.
Great scramble defense there by PAARL Boys, I must say. Now, AJ, you think that from a coaching perspective, some coaches might change the philosophy of coaching, especially primary school, going into high school, knowing that we needed to stop and reflect on how we coach and what we coach. Other high school kids.
Yeah, and I think something that I had quite an interesting debate with a couple of people, and guys were saying that their only focus is matches. Now, obviously, we want to play matches. We obviously want to have those match preparation, because we see when you talk about Olympics and a few things like that, match preparation is very important, especially at a high level. But I think it does make you rethink the way you coach. It does make you rethink how you coach, because, for instance, if we look at teams playing now, we're not as well prepared as we are for a match than what we should be naturally, because we haven't had many games. Fairmont now comes inside the circle. Great reverse stick, little tap past the keeper's left foot, and Fairmont take a 2-0 lead just on the stroke of the end of quarter number 1. Ryan scoring that reverse trap. He's been quite busy inside the D for the Fairmont side, as Fairmont now take a 2-0 lead with 30 seconds left. So just to carry on what you were saying is yeah, it's forced everybody to think differently. I think it's also forced players to be a bit more proactive. It's also made you think the time that you have with your team from a coaching perspective, to maximize the use of that time that you have.
Fairmont now in the middle of the field with the ball. Free it there for Fairmont. PAARL Boys are just being a bit too physical. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the first quarter here at Fairmont. Good game, I think. PAARL Boys are, I think, just looking like they're trying to find their feet still. Fairmont hasn't been waiting for anyone.
Yeah, I think Fairmont's obviously got comfortable in the game quicker. I do think PAARL is struggling a little bit on their left-sided defense. I think there's a couple of players that they're not marking specifically on that side of the field, which is then just a bit of a chain reaction. As soon as they start attacking down the side, it's just a chain reaction which leaves players in the middle of the field. So I think that's one thing. Fairmont haven't had many opportunities, I think 3 or 4, and they've scored 2, so they've done really well on that part. I think, again, PAARL Boys have probably just got to string a few more passes together at the moment. It's all over the show a little bit. But like we said, it's the first quarter. I mean, it's only 12 minutes down, and they've got 3 more to try and rectify that a little bit.
It's very true. It's composure. Trying just to connect passes at the back, string them together, build up into your midfield, and then try and get your strikers to execute your game. Fairmont looks quite ready to go. PAARL Boys, our coach, just having a chat there.
I see Lance Barrett saying nice goal, Ryan Topper. Lance Barrett, old Durbanville Hockey Club player, also player that I played against for many years, and I know he'll appreciate the goal that was scored. So thank you very much, Lance, for your comments. And if you've got any more comments, or you watching from anywhere, please let us know, and we'll happily engage with you as we're about to start quarter number 2, as PAARL Boys are playing from left to right in their navy blue and sky blue kit, and Fairmont in their traditional green and white. Maria, what would you be saying to your PAARL Boys team if you were the coach at that end of that quarter?
Well, there I'd mention composure and defense. We've had too many instances where it's been scramble, not marking, and especially, as you mentioned, you picked up on the left-hand side, get those players to connect the passes on the out, and not giving easy balls away for Fairmont to counter on. But yeah, composure would be my main aspect of that chat. At this point, I think they are moving quite good in the midfield, so nothing structure-wise at this point, just the defense in the circle.
Yeah, I think one more thing maybe to add to that, I think they would probably want to stretch their forwards just a little bit more. I think their forwards are a little bit flatter, so it is compressing the field quite a bit and it's making it easier for Fairmont to defend. But yeah, it's not a difficult fix. It's something they can fix quite easily, and yeah, it's been pretty good. It's Fairmont now with the ball left hand side. They look to burst from the one side. Big ball comes inside, and there's work players inside, beats everybody as PAARL Boys get a free hit deep inside their own half on the left hand side. As again, Fairmont putting on a lot of pressure. Ball comes into the middle, and another turnover as Fairmont now look to keep control of the ball. As hits a Fairmont foot, and PAARL Boys look to attack quite quickly down the right hand side now as they've got some numbers forward. Again, well defended, but PAARL Boys again with the ball as they slowly but surely building their way up the field.
Building some real momentum now, just hoping they could capitalize.
Big ball comes inside the circle. It hits I think it hits a Fairmont stick, and it goes for a long corner, clears everybody, no danger. As PAARL Boys now have a long corner and starting the half really well, putting Fairmont under pressure.
At this stage, Asia, I'll turn my attention to the midfield over here. We've got three players doing nothing in the midfield, 2 drop options. Nobody really trying to load in the circle. Fairmont now with a good opportunity to apply some pressure on the PAARL Boys out backs. Turned over there by PAARL Boys out, drive into the middle of the field. Ball unfortunately just played just too far off the stick. Red zone there, keep your stick on the ball. Yeah,
Fairmont were lucky there as if PAARL Boys had won the ball there, would have been a 3v1 overlap at that point, but Fairmont lucky to win that free hit. As again down the right hand side Fairmont goes, as now better defense from PAARL Boys on that left hand side as they again close the space down that Fairmont used for both their goals in the first half, in the first quarter.
Smash ball easily picked up by Fairmont, turned over by PAARL Boys out into the midfield. Has advantage, gets the free hit. Now I'd be looking to change the channel over here.
Yeah, and also maybe take the free hits a little bit quicker, because at the moment they're allowing Fairmont to come back and defend quite easily. So I think that's something, because there are player options on, but unfortunately they're just not finding those. It's Fairmont now with a chance, but unfortunately a misplaced pass as PAARL Boys with the ball down the right hand side, and good tackle as Fairmont trying to win it back, but PAARL win it back now as they look to go forward, and ball goes through and beats everyone over the baseline as PAARL Boys now with a 16-yard free hit. We've got just 4 minutes down in this first quarter, as an overhead goes. PAARL Boys picks it up as again, but won by Fairmont as Fairmont got an option 3v3 as ball goes just outside the circle. Umpire blows a free hit as Fairmont takes it quickly, but umpire's not happy with where the free hit has been taken. Fairmont now plays it outside the circle. They look to build their way in down this left hand side. It's now patiently around the back as PAARL Boys want to put a bit of pressure on, but unfortunately don't win the ball deep on that left hand side. Another big ball there.
Yeah, that gives you an indication of a bit of pressure there, just relieving that. But the ball's still in play by PAARL Boys are inside the corner.
You must have put backspin on that ball, because that ball slowed down in that corner. It's PAARL Boys under pressure, putting the pressure. Ball comes inside the circle, mistrapped, and keeper makes a save, hits a PAARL Boys foot, and it's a 16 free hit out. I think everybody expected that ball to go over the baseline.
Everybody just stopped running, but there was one little soul chasing after that one.
Must be a little bit of water lying in that far corner over there. And now PAARL Boys with the ball in midfield. It's a bit of a scrap, but PAARL Boys win it, and they have it in that far corner as they definitely having a better quarter than they had in the first one. And as I say that, Fairmont win the ball on the right hand side as they're now driving inside. 2v1, balls inside the circle. He's going to look for someone in a better position. Doesn't find it, but Ball still there. And I think it hit a foot of a PAARL Boys player as Fairmont win their second penalty corner of the game.
Looked like it came off his foot into his face.
Yeah.
Shame. Now this will be the third penalty corner for Fairmont. Going in the third, I'll definitely look to get one here again. 3-0 surely looks better than 2-0. PAARL Boys are now with an opportunity to defend, maybe counter, but some exciting hockey. Definitely PAARL Boys are having a better second quarter than first.
Yeah, definitely better. I think they definitely, there's a lot more energy. Is again double castle from Fairmont on top D. This push comes out to start circle. It's a little bit of a zigzag and flick comes in and it's a Fairmont stick on the post and then goes inside the circle. I'm not sure that was planned, but it was very, very well executed in the end. As Fairmont take a 3-0 lead here and executing really, really well from their penalty corner, team.
Pretty good execution there. If it's not planned and it's goal, it's well executed.
Yeah.
PAARL Boys are now on the ball midfield.
Yeah,
Gets a free just in the middle of their second quarter of the field. Strikers are trying to stretch the field at this moment. Right half pass, ball, centre half there.
Yeah, they are stretching it a little bit more, and it's quite important that they are stretching it the first time and then making their lead, but they're not re-leading again. I think that's something they've got to do, because what happens is a lot of them start deep, lead into space, and then don't re-lead again to take the defender back out with him. So they have done it once or twice now in the second quarter, but they didn't do it in the first quarter, and I think that's what made it easier for Fairmont to defend. But they are doing it much better in the second quarter now. As Fairmont with the ball now deep on the left hand side, but it's a free to PAARL Boys as again slowly start to build to try and close that 3-0 lead, that 3-0 deficit they have with Fairmont. Is a little space down the left hand side, is down the right hand side for Fairmont, for PAARL Boys, apologies at the moment. It's a Fairmont footers, again another free hit for PAARL Boys. Fairmont player not 5 away from the free hit. PAARL Boys now, I've seen they've reverted to 3 at the back. They've pushed an extra player into midfield. And under a bit of pressure, ball lifted dangerously by Fem. Very lucky to get away with that. I think he might have been.
That would have ended, wouldn't have ended well.
His goalkeeper would have been very, very upset with him if that went Fairmont's way.
PAARL Boys are now with opportunity towards the top of the D. Still on the ball. Opportunity now to enter the circle on the right hand side. Good defense there by Fairmont. Composed ball back out. PAARL Boys are still on the ball on the right hand side of the circle. Big ball comes in. And a penalty corner won by PAARL Boys are there. I think penalty corner, good outcome. Obviously better outcome there would have been possibly 1 or 2 attempts on goal. Yeah,
but I think it's also good that they got that outcome, because they have strung better passes together. There are few, and yeah, I think it's a reward for the way they've played in this quarter. Even though they've conceded one, they have definitely started this quarter a little bit better than they did in the first quarter. But let's see, we got PAARL Boys that's also going with a double castle as they look to try, and with 2.5 minutes left in this quarter, they look to close the deficit that they have to Fairmont currently standing at 3-0. This push out comes out to the first castle and hits a PAARL Boys foot, and Fairmont with a chance to counter, but unfortunately didn't connect that overhead, as PAARL Boys now with a chance to get back inside the circle. Ball comes in and reverse shot comes in, he misses it, and unfortunately deemed dangerous by the umpires. Fairmont now have a 16 to calmly clear the danger. They had a counter-attack option there after the penalty corner.
Definitely did. Always a disappointing end to a penalty corner if your injection goes onto your foot. Another opportunity for PAARL Boys are freed on the right hand side of the field, going into the corner, unfortunately just out of reach of the right hand striker there. Fairmont now with the 16-yard hit. Paarl Boys are implementing kind of a full press here. Fairmont breaks through into the midfield, turned over by Paarl Boys in the midfield. Through the middle, picks up a pass towards top D. Unfortunately, they again turned over by Fairmont. Very well defended. Fairmont now with a quick freed attempt. Goes towards the first top of the circle. Attempt there. That was
players shouting probably for a potential penalty stroke there, but umpire clearly saw something that we didn't see. As
definitely AJ there. Coach going ballistic on the sideline as well.
I mean, we're standing right behind the coach, and that's what we saw. But I mean, again, in front of the umpire, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it did a Fairmont foot. Maybe it. So, as Fairmont now have a free hit in between the half and the 25.
Fairmont on the ball through the middle, fooled two players. Paarl Boys are now on the ball with the sideline. Maybe look to change it, go on to the outside, far outside channel as we approach the end of the second quarter going into halftime.
Yeah, umpire didn't ball lifted dangerously, and there we have it. It's halftime here with Fairmont leading 3-0 against Paarl Boys. It's quite a commanding lead that Fairmont holds, but Paarl Boys have definitely had their opportunities. They've had chances to score, and they've had chances to get back into this game. And we again thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for wherever you're watching, probably in the comfort of your warm home. It is quite chilly here on the side of the field as the sun is set and the winter coldness comes through. As again, we got Fairmont leading 3-0 over Paarl Boys currently. It's not really been as one-sided as what the scoreline dictates, but Paarl Boys have slowly but surely come back into the game. Even though they haven't got a goal yet, they're definitely looking a bit more smoother than they did in the first quarter. Marie, your thoughts on the half so far?
Well, as you said, I don't think Paarl Boys are out of it just yet. I think it looks like we're warming up. And I hope the third quarter will deliver some better hockey and better composure from Paarl Boys. Fairmont definitely got the upper hand at this stage. But anything might change. Let's just see what Paarl Boys can pull out of the hat.
I think if we can be very, very critical, which is maybe not what we want, but I mean Fairmont will probably be a little bit disappointed with some of the chances that they had, that they could have scored more. Not to be greedy, but there were some very clear-cut chances that they could have got opportunities. But then again, Paarl Boys have defend a little bit better in quarter two than they did in quarter one. So I mean, what do they change now? I mean, it's 3-0 is quite a big lead. I mean, do they continue doing the same thing? Do they do significant changes? I mean, what do you reckon they should do for this next two quarters?
I don't think there's any significant changes needed at this stage. I think if they keep on doing what they've been doing and keep on putting Paarl Boys under that pressure, they'll definitely start capitalizing on those opportunities that they might have missed in the first two quarters. So maybe what I would say to them is, even though that the scoreline is 3-0, this game's far from over. We can't afford to stop, we can't afford to park the bus right now and be comfortable in our lead, as we see Paarl Boys are maybe only starting up now. So still wakey at the back, defend, and capitalize on those opportunities. From Paarl Boys' side, also not much to change, just those stretching on the field, and then again composed defense at the back, maybe not allowing Fairmont to counter as they do, or maybe being aware of counter defense to a certain extent. That's my 2 cents on the first two chuckers and what I would have said to the teams at this stage as we are getting ready to start quarter number 3.
Yeah, just also I think from Paarl Boys' perspective, I think they shouldn't panic too much on defense. I think a lot of them are chasing just a little bit. You know, so sometimes you just panic a little bit when you see an open play inside the circle. So that's one thing that they've just got to be calm about. And also, I think Fairmont needs to up front. I think they also just need to be a bit more clear cut in their passes. They're taking maybe a second or two too long to make a pass or to find a person in a better position. So that's something as third chucker starts, as Fairmont straight away onto the counter attack. PAARL Boys winning it, but unfortunately a pass going awry, and that's the story of their first two chuckers. They've made the passes that they need to make, but it's either been a meter or two too far or been intercepted. So I think that's something that PAARL Boys, it's going to be a frustration on their side.
Trying to connect those easy balls over it, not quite going the way that they wanted. Still out of reach of PAARL Boys, are still in the possession of Fairmont into the midfield. Maybe looking to change it out to the far right hand side. Good transfer ball there. Unfortunately just losing his footing there. Fairmont still on the ball, through ball there. Baseline drive by Fairmont, cutting into the circle, still on the ball.
Oopsie.
That ball.
So that was quite interesting. I think for a moment that defender, I don't know, looked as if the defender thought he was in the opposite side D, because he actually.
So AJ, that ball went into the box, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
And it touched an attacking play inside the circle, right?
So technically should have been 4-0 to Fairmont, but yeah, it's a bit of a weird situation there. But
I was for a while like, what's going on here?
I mean, and he did so well to come back and defend as well. I mean, he picked it. Ideally should have obviously left the ball and let it go over the baseline.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As we have it now, the Fairmont then had a long corner and won a penalty corner while we were trying to figure out what just happened. But Fairmont have a penalty corner now with a chance to extend the lead to 4-0.
Yeah.
So 3-0 currently as penalty corner now with Fairmont. 10 minutes to go still in this third chucker. There's only one castle as the push out comes out to Diaz. Looking for a flick, and flick comes in straight to the keeper, but it comes back to Fairmont. Fairmont still with the ball outside penalty area. They still have it, and shots coming in from far side, and saved by the keeper, but it slid off his pad and rolled over the line as Fairmont take a 4-0 lead into this game after a little bit of a goal line scrap, and they continue with their high percentages from the penalty corner spot.
Good ball, just rolled over the line there, stopped by the defender, just maybe 1 second too late. Good way to score a goal in the end. Maybe justice?
Yeah, I mean, it most likely would have been a goal, and yeah, as we say that, as PAARL Boys now with a chance, and straight away they win a penalty corner. Another chance here to try and get a goal back as a little bit lax defending. That's that, we talk about that change in mentality where you want to go from attack to defense straight away, and that's one of the worst things that could happen is score a goal on the opposite side, lose a bit of concentration, then give a penalty corner away on the opposite side. I think you'll be a little bit disappointed by that, and PAARL Boys will obviously like to take their chance now.
Just quickly coming back to what has just happened on the other side, just shows you maybe how little of the rules some of these players know, because there was no contest whatsoever after the decision has been made. Maybe schooling some players in hockey rules might be a good idea.
Yeah, and I'll tell a little bit about it afterwards. As push comes in, as also PAARL Boys look for a flick comes in, and keeper somehow either lost it in the air and beats the keeper over his glove, as PAARL Boys capitalize straight away on a little bit of defensive, defensive laziness from Fairmont after they scored their goal. They're definitely most likely going to fix that, but PAARL Boys getting a goal back, and now 4-1 in quarter 3, which makes it quite exciting now, because I mean this is definitely going to give PAARL Boys the motivation they need to try and get those 3 goals back.
Yeah, I think that penalty corner for PAARL Boys definitely came off that sensation of I've just scored a goal, I'm going to relax, and then suddenly the opposing side's in the circle. Fairmont now on the ball, drive, gets a foot there, still has advantage. refereed, eventually blown there. Fairmont still on the ball, the opportunity just outside the 5-meter step, inside the 23-yard area. Ball has to move 5, travels with the ball, circle entry there, and gets a penalty corner.
I think let's go back again to that 4th goal, because I think, or that little we were talking about, and I think
the not 4th goal.
Yeah, the not 4th goal though, just before they scored. I mean, I think what's important and something that I don't think coaches maybe necessarily train enough, and I'm not saying these teams don't, it's just something that I've picked up, is that hockey is so much more than just moving the ball around, trying to score a goal. I mean, there's a lot of thinking and a lot of awareness that needs to happen on the field, and that's a good example of make sure you are aware. As push out comes, as Fairmont, another flick comes in and it hit a PAARL Boys stick, and I think it came off a foot as umpire on the opposite side helps the near side umpire. And I think that awareness of the rules, awareness of what's happening in the game. I mean, we take that example and then we move to the one where Fairmont scored, and then suddenly they went from attack and defense, and the mentality didn't change. They didn't shift to an idea of defending, because I mean suddenly they just weren't ready for that. Yes, PAARL Boys, Fairmont, sorry, now with another push out, looks like another flick comes in, and flick goes towards the defender. I think it hits the defender on the line. It either hit the defender or it hit the goalkeeper's stick. He was down for a little bit.
I think it might have come off the keeper there into that defender.
Yeah, keeper has actually done really well picking up the line. It's just a 1 or 2 occasions where it's either slid off the pads, but he has been good on those occasions. As we see the Fairmont first team and PAARL Boys first team warming up, as flick comes in again, and keeper with a great stick save down the right hand side, and really been
Aiden McFarlane being
is that Cindy McFarlane's son?
Yes, that is.
Oh, that's
indeed.
right. So Aiden McFarlane with a great little save there. Fairmont now with a long corner as we look at Fairmont first team boys and PAARL Boys first team warming up for their game starting in about 25 minutes time.
Should be at 7 o'clock, yeah?
Yeah, 7 o'clock as PAARL Boys, their first team will be playing the last game for their matrics. It's quite a special occasion for them, and we're also going to acknowledge the Fairmont first team, the Fairmont matrics, as they've got only a few games left and they're not sure how many games they'll have left at home. So that will be happening in 25 minutes, but still, up till then, we've still got another quarter and 5 minutes and a 4th quarter left of this under-16 game, as Fairmont now driving down the right-hand side. And also something I've noticed is a lot of them are just engaging the play instead of just moving the ball when they should. That's definitely something that we've picked up quite a bit in this game.
Yeah, some principles never die. Move the ball, don't move with the ball. That's something some players, Fairmont now just with the opportunity to get back with now, still have one. Bit of a drag foot, finds a foot there and a penalty corner for Fairmont. Letting the ball do the work, don't run yourself, but I think there's just some players maybe still trying to prove something, I guess, for themselves or for the team.
I think, I think about that, and I think of the Olympics, and what I love about the Olympics is that people might not be aware of this, but you can actually make a lot of comparisons to hockey from other sports. And one of the sports that I love watching at the Olympics that teaches a lot of this is handball. And we'll get back to my handball discussion soon, as Fairmont still now with another penalty corner, 3.5 minutes left in the quarter. As push comes out with first goal, deflection and goes past the keeper, but there's a man on the post that's cleared out. And handball's quite interesting. If you watch the game, the ball moves so much. They do a lot of zonal defending, but the ball moves so much in the handball game. And I remember when I was younger, I had a coach who kept shouting, in certain situations, handball mentality. We would just move the ball away from certain. It's probably a little bit more relevant in an indoor setup, but in an outdoor game, it's quite relevant as well. That's one of the games that I watch a lot of. I learn a lot of defensive things from there, as well as attacking things, because they don't take players on. They just move the ball and find gaps where they can take their shots. So I think that's one thing that's very nice from watching something like the Olympics, is try to find comparisons to other sports, whether it be physical ability or whether it be tactical, whether it be technical, so
100%.
It's PAARL Boys now with a chance down that left-hand side that has been working so well for them as they try and feed the ball in, and Ball comes inside the circle. It beats a Fairmont player, but cleared by Fairmont. But then back to PAARL Boys. PAARL Boys with the ball again. As they just on that outside the circle on that left hand side, as another ball comes in and hits a Fairmont stick with a chance them to clear the danger now as they work it down their right hand side as under a little bit of pressure, and PAARL Boys win it again. A little bit scrappy down that left hand side.
I don't see any plan there. It's just have a bit of hit and hope going.
Yeah, and you make a valid point, because it does look that way. But I think the players need to sometimes in those situations you just stop. You know, there are times where you need to play the free quickly. There are times where you need to slow it down. Also in that situation, it was just up and down, just like a little bit of a ping pong game.
Yes.
So yeah, it is. I think playing with a plan is definitely important. PAARL Boys win the ball just outside the circle. The ball's inside the circle now. As umpire blows a free hit for PAARL Boys, as they have just about a meter or so outside the circle. As everybody's got to be 5.
PAARL Boys, I will definitely look to get at least a penalty corner circle entry at this stage. Still on the ball. Another free hit there.
Yeah, with about a minute to go in this, I mean, it would set up an amazing fourth quarter if they could get a goal now. Ball comes in. There's a little bit of scrapping. PAARL Boys still with the ball. Ball comes inside the circle. Hits the keeper's pad. Keeper looked a bit nervous there, but hit his pad and went inside the D. But obviously free. The hit came from outside the circle, so it will be a long corner to PAARL Boys as they continue putting pressure onto Fairmont.
40 seconds to go in this third quarter. Fairmont now opportunity counter attack there. 3-on-2, turning into a 3v3.
It's a really good counter defense, but really good counter defense there by PAARL Boys. He's done it a couple of times throughout the game today. There's 20 seconds left as Fairmont with now the free hit. Try and see if they can get something out of it. It seems like the temperature's gone down by about 5 degrees in the time that we've just sat here. Ball goes inside the circle. PAARL Boys and Fairmont with a scrap inside the circle as the second to go. End of the third quarter, and Fairmont still leading 4-1, but the game getting a lot more exciting in this third quarter. And still a lot of fight with the Fairmont player, with the PAARL Boys players. They're really putting up the fight, even though they're 4-1 down currently.
I was just about to say, this scoreline looks 4-1, but I don't think it solely reflects what's been going on in this match so far. We chatted in halftime about the changes we would make or not we wouldn't make in the Fairmont side. Do you think they might be making some big changes now? Staying goalless in this third quarter?
I think there was a bit of frustration that crept in. First of all, sorry, let me just get back to, so there was a little bit of frustration, I think, in the third quarter. I think because obviously they expect to do well from a penalty corner spot, because they've obviously done well in the game, but there's obviously a little bit more frustration that's creeping in a little bit, and I think that's affected their third quarter, definitely. So I think they will just need to take a step back, re-look at what works for them in quarter 1 and quarter 2. I think the way they move the ball around the back, their patience going forward, and the stringing of extra passes was very, very good in the first 2 quarters. It needs to go back to that. There were too many 1v1 battles that they took on that they didn't need to take on. There were 2v1 situations where they turned into 1v1 situations where they didn't need to engage in a defender. So I think they need to get back to that first. They're not chasing the game, so they shouldn't. I don't think they need to do anything different currently. I think they need to tighten up what they did in quarter 1 and quarter 2. They need to get back to. PAARL Boys are the ones going to chase the game, so I don't expect Fairmont to be laid back. I think they still need to be very sharp in in the way that they execute their skills in the game. But I think they don't need to rush the game as much as they're trying to. They're just trying to take on players too much, and they just got to move that ball better. As there they win a free hit, and another overhead goes, but they lose the ball again. So small little errors like that is not what they would like to happen. It's
just going to build more frustration in the end, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's something. So as PAARL Boys now under pressure again with a Fairmont with a free deep down their left hand side of the field. Let's look to build again as big ball down the field as
Same guy who chased it just now is chasing again after the ball.
he might get it and ball stays inside the field. Is he going to keep it in? He does, and Fairmont well defended, but it's still a bit of a scrap down at the bottom as PAARL Boys look to put them under pressure. And good pressure by PAARL Boys as they win a free down that right hand side channel. Lots of pace from that forward there to try and get that ball.
Well, we were talking about fitness and conditioning earlier on.
The turf is a little bit slower than what would be on a normal day. It has rained quite a bit this morning, and quite a lot this morning and a little bit this afternoon. So the turf is a little bit slower than normal.
Yeah, I have been running on it myself. It is a bit soaky.
Quite heavy underfoot.
Yes, it is indeed.
So that's why the ball would slow down. It's quite a good tactic to have if you have that ball going up for your forward chasing. Overhead going in good space there by PAARL Boys. They have numbers forward now. They need to find. Ball comes in and there's a shot coming. Oh, and as he takes a shot, he misses it, and it's 16. They had lots of numbers. I think it was about 5v3.
No, we
on
had
that
3 boys up players touch that ball.
Yeah. So they had a golden chance there. It's Fairmont.
I don't think Fairmont would be too happy allowing 3 boys up players to have a touch on that ball inside their circle with no defense on them.
Yeah. Fairmont now with the chances. They drive down the right hand side. He's going to look for a player up front, and he doesn't find him. Now he finds somebody just inside the circle. He's going to look for somebody in a better position. Keeper goes in and goes under the keeper's stick. And Fairmont.
No, AJ, that whole build up there was spectacular.
Yeah, good drive down the one side. And again, we talk about this right hand side that PAARL Boys unfortunately weren't able to manage in the first quarter. As Fairmont now go 5-1. They look like a mountain to climb for PAARL Boys currently, but no doubt their fight will still take them all the way to the end of this game. PAARL Boys now with a chance on their right hand side, and they look to get back straight away. Ball comes inside the circle, hits a Fairmont foot, and again for the second time in the game, Fairmont have scored and immediately conceded a penalty corner on the opposite side of the field. And I think they'll be lucky that they have a bit of a lead, but it's definitely something that their coaching staff will worry about, that just managing situations like that. But kudos to PAARL Boys for counter-attacking or getting back on the attack straight away after conceding the goal.
Definitely a big mountain to climb here. PAARL Boys I will definitely look to get back, maybe to go to 5-2 at this stage, which is still reachable.
Push shot comes to drag flick, comes in, and first wave runs it down. It was a very good run down as umpire blows a free hit as Fairmont now have a 16. And they've got numbers forward. Just need to find that they've had some numbers forward. Unfortunately, mistracked as ball goes over the sideline for Fairmont now, with a PAARL Boys having a free hit just inside the halfway line.
The PAARL Boys are now on the halfway line with the ball, playing it into the middle of the field, looking to big ball up high, unfortunately not picked up in the corner there. Fairmont now on the ball, driving out, and then unfortunately running the ball out of field. Fairmont now on the
Fairmont now with a chance. Gail Sawyer saying, watching from the car in the car park, go Fairmont. So thank you, Gail. Apologies that we can't have you in the stands. And thank you very much for watching. And is it Maskatool saying, I think it's Maskatool saying, nice Jonty. So thank you very much for sending your messages. We appreciate it. Again, Gail, we're sorry that you can't come sit with us in the stands watching the game, but we hope you're enjoying it from the comfort of your warm car in the car park. And thanks again, everybody, for joining as we are only a few minutes away. 7 minutes to go still quite some time. I thought it was just a little bit less, but 7 minutes to go in this last chuck. As Fairmont now with a chance, building inside the circle. They're going to enter inside the circle now. Shot comes in and keeper almost, he somehow lost track of that. Hit his pad and bounced to the player just to the right of him. And rebounds, and with 6.5 minutes on the clock, Fairmont take a 6-1 lead. As it seemed to be, the PAARL Boys guys seem to be running out of a little bit of steam as they've been fighting so hard in this game. But Fairmont really doing well with a 6-1 scoreline currently. It's Fairmont now with the free hit on the left hand side. We've got some definitely a little bit more comfortable and stringing a lot more passes together. As now again they go into the attackers. Got numbers forward again, but good scramble defense from PAARL Boys as they looking for numbers up front, and they find one as just outside the 25 now with a bit of space, and they win the ball inside the circle. A bit of a scramble and a stick tackle from Fairmont as PAARL Boys now get another penalty corner with it's about 5.5 minutes to go in the final quarter of the game. So Fairmont leading 6-1. PAARL Boys will be just looking to capitalize as much as possible on every opportunity they have now. It's tough to get back from 6-1, but stranger things have happened in hockey matches.
Definitely now. PAARL Boys will definitely look to keep their heads up. Maybe still play a good game. It was a good slip left there. Slap came in from PAARL Boys, unfortunately just missed the left upright. Now Fairmont back on the ball, 16-yard hit. Driven into the midfield, still on the ball. Good run there. Pop for 1-2 option there. Circle entry by Fairmont.
So what a finish here from Fairmont. Great build-up, ball moving from player to player, moving the ball well, and 7-1 to Fairmont as they're looking to capitalize big time. And Caden Stadler saying, come on Fairmont. Thank you, Caden, for your messages. Fairmont take a big 7-1 lead now with 4 minutes 20 to go. And then we talk about that moving the ball from player to player and just trying to keep it away from contact. Was such a good example of that down this right hand side as PAARL Boys now with the ball. They're looking to counter-attack, but Fairmont have won it, and unfortunately another turnover now in midfield. PAARL Boys with the ball now again.
Back to playing a bit of ping pong here, Major.
Yeah, it's PAARL Boys now with a chance. They're still running hard, still not giving up, as they're going to give everything for the last couple of minutes of the game.
Fairmont defending on the far side of the field there. Good run there by PAARL Boys towards baseline, intercepted by Fairmont. Gained back by PAARL Boys. And then just went over the baseline for a long corner. PAARL Boys now with another opportunity inside the attacking 23-yard area.
Yeah, PAARL Boys with the ball now. 3 minutes to go in the half as PAARL Boys looking for a little bit of space. Here's a little bit of space inside the circle. Shot comes in, but Fairmont's stick comes in and clears the ball. Some really, really good defense of Fairmont getting their numbers forward and missed passes. Oh, and a good recovering tackle there. Fairmont now looking again to move down their right hand side. They're going to look to try and string passes together. There's their numbers forward, but good tackle there from PAARL Boys on the deep on Fairmont's right hand side of the field.
Fairmont still on the ball inside the 23-yard area. Baseline option wide open, circle entry, and it's a penalty corner ball. Unfortunately, just popping a bit high there off the defender's stick in onto his body.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a soft penalty corner, unfortunately. Just no one around him, unfortunately, and just body position. He was unfortunately in the wrong place and ball hitting his body and going for penalty corner now for Fairmont as they look to extend an already big lead as they with 2 minutes to go. They've still got their lining up still with their usual penalty corner slot, with just with one person on the castle. Let's see what variation they go with here. Push goes short now to different variation. Shot comes in and beats everyone past the left hand upright or right hand upright, as PAARL Boys now with a chance to counter, as they've got numbers forward, but they don't seem to get it there. Unfortunately, miss hit as FAIRMONT now with another chance now with a minute and a half to go. Driving down the right hand side, ball comes in. He's still got the ball inside the circle, hitting a PAARL Boys foot, and it is a penalty corner yet again to FAIRMONT, as they are now with a minute and 15 to go on the clock. Another chance to go.
Maybe a bit too rushed there by PAARL Boys, unfortunately giving that one away. I think that was kind of a freebie for FAIRMONT.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, he's just run out a bit of legs, and I think it's just got to that point where PAARL Boys have been trying so hard from start to finish, and it's been really, really good to see. But unfortunately, it's just a little bit too FAIRMONT team, a little bit too much for them today. As the ball comes in, it's a slip to the one side, and a deflection comes in. It hits a foot, but umpire, I think, played advantage and play on the far post. Person who pushes out puts it inside in the box on the left hand side, as FAIRMONT take an 8-1 lead. It's about a few minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock, as PAARL Boys still fighting towards try and get something out the game with a couple of seconds left in the game. As an 8-1 lead, you can say, is a very successful performance, very productive performance, executed well from all the FAIRMONT players, as they move. FAIRMONT now with another chance, four men up front, but as soon as they're about to enter, the whistle went. And Marie, what are your final thoughts on the game?
Well, AJ, I was just thinking, what a roller coaster. We had some opportunities from Boys' Eye, from FAIRMONT, going both ways. In the end, well executed by FAIRMONT. Great game by them. PAARL Boys' Eye maybe just too scrambled. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, from myself, AJ Spierenzuk and Marie Engelbrecht, bye for now, and see you in a couple of minutes for the first team game.